Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everybody, and thank you for joining us. This is Yoel Kortick, Senior Librarian at Libris, and it is April 13th, Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, and we're here for our two-part series on job management in Alma. So thanks for joining us, and what we're going to do today is go through several topics about jobs in Alma. We're going to talk specifically about different types of jobs, scheduled jobs, workflow jobs, manual jobs. We'll see how these jobs are configured in cases where they're configured, how we can see the results of them. We'll run some jobs in order to see how it all works. And in the next session, we'll discuss export jobs and retrieving the files that are produced from the jobs. Everybody has a link to this presentation, and let's begin. So, as we stated, these are the topics. We're going to talk about the types of jobs, which is the scheduled jobs, the workflow jobs, and the manual jobs. We're going to get up to, let me get out of this presentation mode here. We're going to get up to and not including here. Up to and not including the export jobs. This part we're going to do next time. And today we're going to cover these topics here. So let's begin. Types of jobs. We're going to look at the PowerPoint just briefly, but we're going to use Alma more to see exactly what we're talking about. So let's go into Alma, and by chance, I'm already logged into Alma as our favorite demo librarian, Alicia Hen, and we're talking about jobs. So if I want to see, or if the staff user wants to see the different types of jobs, it's done through Admin Monitor Jobs. So here I am at Admin. I'm in the Alma menu, I will point out. I'm not in the configuration menu. I'm in the Alma menu. You know that I'm not in the configuration menu because I've got a link down here to open the configuration menu. And I've got Alma here. I'm in the Alma menu, admin, and then we have monitor jobs. So under monitor jobs, we've got three tabs. History, of course, showing the jobs that have run. Running will show jobs while they're running, and we'll have examples of that as we go along. And schedule tab shows the jobs that are scheduled or even not scheduled to run. It shows all of the jobs, and the ones that are scheduled are listed here as active, like the first 5. But for example, ERP export using profile banner is not active. So under scheduled, we see all of the jobs, and under the active column, we can see if the job is active, if it will run according to the schedule, and we see the schedule here. Now, certain jobs here, certain scheduled jobs can be configured. Certain scheduled jobs cannot be configured. They just run. If I were to come here and filter, for example, by repository, these jobs, MMS build record relations, for example, and authorities link bib headings, these are jobs that exist and there's no way to change them. Authority, MMS build record relations, there's no parameters there. It's a job that just runs. On the other hand, there are jobs which do take parameters, which the institution does change according to the way they want the job to run. For example, notifications send due date reminders is an example of a job that runs according to parameters that the institution determines. And we're going to see that in a moment. We'll look, for example, at the send courtesy notices and hand loan renewals, send hold shelf reminders, those are jobs that can be configured. And let's see how that works right now. So if we come to configuration and we go to fulfillment. So we're going to have under general fulfillment jobs configuration. So these are scheduled jobs that can be configured. And let's take a look at that. So we have here, among other jobs, we've got send hold shelf reminders right here where I'm clicking with my mouse. It's gray now. And also, for example, send overdue notices job, just as an example. Actually, that one doesn't have any parameters. That just has active or not active. Send courtesy notices and handle loan renewals job. So here, for example, there are parameters, days before due date. If I want to handle loans in one of 4 different ways. Same thing with the send hold shelf reminders job. I determine the interval, the hold shelf reminder interval, and also determine how often we're going to send the reminder. So it's scheduled. I can determine the schedule here, and I can also determine whether it's active or not. And according to what I put here, it will appear under the scheduled jobs. Let's take the send hold shelf reminders as an example. So I'm going to go back now to the Alma menu and to admin and to monitor jobs and to scheduling. Then we'll filter by fulfillment. So here's all the jobs and a lot of fulfillment jobs. Send hold shelf reminders. Here's a job we saw before. It says it's active and it says every day at 10 o'clock. Active every day at 10 o'clock. In fact, let's take a picture of that just so we can see what's happening here. Here's a picture. And this is what we're talking about. It's active here. It's every day at 10, and it's called send hold shelf reminders. So if we come back there to the configuration menu, to fulfillment jobs configuration, here we see send hold shelf reminders is active and every day at 10. And again here, send hold shelf reminders, it's active every day at 10. And if I decided for whatever reason, sorry, hit the wrong icon there. If I would decide for whatever reason that I want to send it every day at 6 and save it and come back to the Alma menu and to the admin tab, monitor jobs, scheduled, and we'll filter by fulfillment. Now it's every day at 6. We see now it's every day at 6. A moment ago, it was every day at 10, right here. So it changed. So that's an example of a job which takes parameters and then runs according to the parameters. Let's go into the PowerPoint a moment, see what we've already done, and then we'll stop for questions before we go on. So we're talking here about scheduled jobs. We accessed it via the admin monitor jobs. We see that some of them are scheduled by Alma. We looked at the update relations between bibliographic records. And we saw that other jobs, we looked at the send hold shelf reminders, can be configured using predefined scheduling options. We saw an example of that. We made the change and we saw. Other jobs come from other places such as import profiles, integration profiles, publishing profiles, and those can also be scheduled, and we'll look at those shortly as well. We went into monitor jobs, we pointed out the 3 different tabs, we focused on the scheduled, and then we looked at a scheduled job from the fulfillment configuration. In fact, one of the examples we looked at is what is the last example here, which is notification send hold shelf reminders. We went into the fulfillment jobs configuration. We saw that can be changed. We made a change. We changed the scheduling time, and then we saw it. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to see if there's any questions or comments. Does anyone have a question or comment? You can unmute yourself and talk, or you can just send into the chat. Anybody? Okay. Nobody's got a question or comment. Let me just do a sound check because we're 13 minutes in right now. And I haven't seen any comments. Just Anshi, can you hear me? Anshi Sue? Or anybody else there? Okay, Boaz hears me, Chris hears me, great. Okay, so let's go on. Boaz, nice to see you here, by the way. All right, so now let's talk about scheduled jobs from the profiles. So this can be from the integration profiles, or from the import profiles, or from the publishing profiles. And let's begin with the integration profiles. So we'll come back to Alma and to the configuration menu and to general and to integration profiles. And now let's take a look here. So let's take a look at the finance type. That's a popular one. So now we're at integration type finance. And here, let's take the first one. So the first one is called Accounts Department. And here, if we say Edit, we've got Actions tab. We see here that we have import payment confirmation every Monday at 7, and it's active. There could be several jobs in one integration profile. Here we've got one job, but these could also be active. By chance, in this one, they're not. And some of them also take parameters and some split by owner, for example. So we should see this one. I'm going to take a picture again. And now we're going to look and see how we have the imports payment confirmation for an integration profile of type Accounts Department, which is active and scheduled to run every day at 19 o'clock. Let's go take a look. So we'll jump back to the Alma menu. And again, to admin and monitor jobs. And then if we go to the scheduling, and in this case, we'll filter by type acquisitions, because that's where those finance ones are located. And we should have here it is, ERP import using profile Accounts Department every Monday at 19. So it's ERP import using profile Accounts Department every Monday at 19. Here we are. It's the import. It's the Accounts Department. It's every Monday at 19. So we're seeing here an example of a scheduled job which is active. Now notice right above it, we have ERP export using profile Accounts Department every day at 2. Let's take a picture of this one. And it's not active. Here we see it's not active. Here, not active. It's also using the same profile accounts department, and it's every day at 2. If we come back to that integration profile, we'll go back to the configuration menu and to general, integration profiles, accounts department, actions, and here's the everyday at 2. Here's the export. Export every day at 2. You see it's not active there. But if we come in here and we make that active and we save, then now, if we come to the Alma menu, admin, monitor jobs, scheduled, and then we filter by acquisitions. So that every day at 2, here it is, it's every day at 2. And now number 7 is active. We look at the one before, it's not active. And now it is active. We changed the scheduled job, which appears in the admin monitor jobs, by editing an integration profile. I'm going to go back to that integration profile, however, before I forget, and uncheck that one. Nope, not fulfillment. We want configuration, general, okay. Are there any questions or comments so far about configuring an integration profile to change the scheduled job? I'm going to go into the chat, see if there's any questions here. Still no questions. Okay. Then we'll move on. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So what we looked at here was an integration profile. We saw that this was active. We saw the corresponding job here in the schedule tab of the monitor jobs. And now we're going to go to an import profile and see how this works. Okay. I'm just going to re-log in here. Sign out. Sign in. Okay. So now we're going to look at the import profiles. I'm just going to pop back into this integration profile and just put it back to the way it was, which was that the second one here, inactive. Okay. So now we're talking about import profiles. Import profiles, you go and take a file and upload it. Typically, it will be a vendor's file and maybe also create orders. So let's take a look here. We've got resources, import, manage import profiles. And among the various import profiles, let's take one. Oh, there's a lot of active ones, so we're good. Let's take one of type repository. And let's take the one we've already got here. This is called Alma University Mark Binary Physical Items. Here we go. Alma University Mark Binary Physical Items. Alma University is the name of my institution here, as you see from the icon on the top left. And let's edit this. So this is now scheduled every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. It's called Alma University Mark Binary Physical Items, scheduled every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Let's take a picture here again. Picture, we're talking about can't quite see. Let's take a slightly different picture. How about photographer take another picture? There we go. Now I got the whole name. Thank you, photographer. Okay, so what we're going to look for now is Alma University Mark Binary Physical Items. We see the scheduling is active every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And if we come back to, we're already in the Alma menu. So admin, monitor jobs. And we're talking now about an import profile. So in this case, in the schedule tab, we'll filter by import, by type import. So we've got filter, import, and here we are. It's metadata import with FTP. Metadata import with FTP. We're using FTP here. You can see the import protocol right here. It's nice taking a picture. Then I don't have to keep switching back and forth, back and forth. We've got what we saw then in one part. And it's scheduled every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. That's because of right here, every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And if I were to come and change it, let's go make a little change there. So we'll say resources, import profiles, and we'll filter by repository. And here we are. Edit. And if this were every day at 2 o'clock, save. So now it's every day at 2 o'clock. I'm not taking a picture. We'll remember that the only change we made was every day at 2 o'clock. Monitor jobs, scheduled, and import. And now we're every day at 2 o'clock. Now it's every day at 2 o'clock. And previously it was every Tuesday at 4. So that's a scheduled job that comes from a import profile. Any questions or comments there? Let's go take a look at the chat. I don't see any questions or comments came in. So let's move on now to a scheduled job, which is from a publishing profile. Then it's going to get a little more interesting. If you think we actually not running jobs so far, you'll see that pretty soon we're going to run jobs. This is the last example that we're just showing. Then we're going to actually run some jobs. So let's go to a publishing profile and see what the story is. In fact, let's look this time, let's start in the monitor jobs. So here, if we filter by publishing, we see here publishing platform job dissertations. Let's take a picture. Going the opposite order now. Instead of showing a profile and then seeing how it is in the monitor jobs, we're seeing how it is in the monitor jobs, then we'll go to the profile. So this is the publishing platform for job dissertations. It's scheduled every Friday at 1 o'clock. And if we come into Alma and we say resources, publishing profiles, let's look for one with dissertations in it. Here it is. So I've got a publishing profile here called dissertations, which is active and scheduled every Friday at 1 o'clock, which is exactly what we saw in the monitor scheduled jobs. Okay, that completes a whole section of the scheduled jobs. We started by saying there's three types of jobs. We said there's scheduled jobs, workflow jobs, and manual jobs. We've looked now at the scheduled jobs, and now we're going to go to the workflow jobs. Okay, and now we're going to actually run jobs. And we're going to look at two examples as we see here. One of those jobs is when we filter a set. Another one of those jobs is when we create a purchase order and send it. Let's create a purchase order and send it. Another workflow job, let's keep these two for now. All right, so let's say I order an item. Let's take something brand new so you don't think, I had something all planned already. And let's see, I'm going into search and I'll choose a random search resource. And let's take a look here. So we've got, let's see if there's anything with these two words in it. Key phrase. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We'll get something, we'll bring it in, we'll order it. Let's take un toque especial motion picture, the first one, import. And let's make this a little bigger. We'll get rid of this. Great. So this is our record. Un toque special. It's got the correct second indicator I see. 3 positions from the U, the N, the space. And let's order that. This is going to show a workflow job. Our goal here is to show a workflow job, and the workflow is going to be that it packages the purchase order line into a purchase order. This is going to be, I'll make it a physical one time, though I'm really not sure what kind it was. It'll be in the main library. I'll use the Zafrani template, create the purchase order line. And I'll just make sure everything's filled in properly. Okay, so what do we got here? A note put on the new bookshelf display after arrival. We've got our vendor. Let's give it a price. $61.30. Okay. And I'll click out, and there we go. It fills in right here. Everything's good. It's got 3 reporting codes. By the way, we're adding 2 more reporting codes. I believe it's in June release. 2 more reporting codes. And by the way, the tertiary reporting code will no longer be called tertiary. It's going to be called third. Anyway, we digress. So now I'm going to send this order. Everything's filled in. Order now. When I just click that order now, and this purchase order line gets packaged into a purchase order, that will create a workflow job. Let's go take a look at this. So POL for et cetera, was packaged automatically into, let's take a picture again. It was automatically packaged into a purchase order right here. So a job ran in the background in order to do that. Let's go take a look. So admin, monitor jobs. Now we're going to go to the history. There it is. Export order, purchase order, job. It ran at 13/04/2021 at 8:30. 8:30 is the time of my environment here. And it all ran. Let's take a look if there's anything of significance in here. One purchase order was processed, 1 purchase order was sent, and it took a total of 3 seconds. So everything's good. We see that a workflow job ran. Okay, now Somebody asks, by the way, anyone can ask anything they want. I never say people's names when they send it in. Once by accident, I did copy and paste it. But somebody asked this question. If you have a few import profiles or a few publishing profiles, what will be shown at the admin run a job schedule? As all of them will be shown there. In fact, I believe we have several of them shown here. If we go to admin, monitor jobs, scheduled, and import, I'll see all of the different import jobs which are scheduled. I don't know how many I've got scheduled here, but let's take a look. If we don't have more than one, we can make more than one. Import. So I see all of them. All of these are scheduled import jobs, and I see them all. So in response to the question, the answer is the staff user will see, just like we see them all here. These are all active import profiles. Okay, let's go on. So we saw the workflow job of the export purchase order. And that happened when we sent the order. Now let's filter a set. Let's make a set. Let's say physical titles and hay. Okay, 16 records, fine. I'm going to save the query, and I'll call this hay morning session. Later in the day, we're going to have an afternoon session. And save. Now let's filter that. Who knows why I didn't find my set here? Who can tell me why didn't I find my set? Some quick trivia. Why didn't I find my set? That's right, Boaz. Because of the content type. I saved a physical title set, and I'm searching for an all titles. So there we are. So let's filter this set. Filter set. By the way, the combined set also makes a workflow job. Filter set. And I've got one here that looks for ing. 0, let me say ing. This one here. Okay. Submit. Now let's go real quick. Maybe we can see it running live. Admin, monitor jobs, real quick. It's already done. Alma works so fast, I can't even do it immediately and go see it. Okay, so here it is, filter set by indication. It's a workflow job that just ran. Let's go to the report and see what the story is there. Okay, so there were 12 records in the filtered set. There were 16 records originally, and the results have 12. That means 4 of the records did not meet the criteria of the filtering. I'm going to do a little test here on something. Admin monitors manage sets. What would happen here if I took my hay, got another one here called gravestones. That's not very nice. Let's say hay morning session. I'm going to combine sets. And here, I'm going to choose another set. Okay, so what do I want? Everything in there and not in there. Actually, I think I want the opposite, but I want to run a job. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is we're running a job. Submit, confirm, admin, monitor jobs. Again, so fast it finishes. So that also sent a workflow job, the combined 2 sets. So these are 3 examples of a workflow job that ran. Are there questions or comments about workflow jobs? Because we've completed that section. Anyone else have a question or comment? Anybody? Quiet crowd today. We got 32 people on the call. Let's see who else we got here. Oh, Yiran's with us. Hello, Yiran. Bill is here. Hello, Bill. Hello, Beryl. And Boaz is still with us. Okay, no questions or comments. We'll move on. So let's just complete here in the PowerPoint just to make sure we covered everything we wanted to cover. We looked at the workflow jobs. We saw this export PO job. We saw that it was created when we did order now. We saw that once the purchase order was created, the job is the one that did it. Then we filtered a set, and we also saw that there was a job filter set by indication. So now we're moving to manual jobs. And these are jobs that run, the institution runs them as required. Some of them require some type of a prerequisite activity. It might be that it uses a set. It might be that it uses a normalization process. And it might be that it uses both a set and a normalization process, because we might be running a normalization process on a set. So let's do that. And let's see where they run from. So they run from, let's go to admin. Until now, we did monitor jobs, but we've also got run a job. So now we have all of the jobs that can run. Now, all of the jobs which are of type Mark 21 bib normalization, these here, let's filter by that. These are normalization processes that the institution runs. For example, I've got one here called Create Link to Primo by MMSID. I've got one called Combine 949. Let's in fact take a picture here. Function, print screen, and a picture. So here we've got the type Mark 21 bib normalization, and here's the names. In fact, I'm going to run this one, remove the 650 with second indicator 7, the last one we see here. This one here. But let's go see where these are coming from. So back to Alma, to the configuration menu, and to resources, cataloging, metadata configuration, Mark 21 bibliographic, and then we're going to go to the normalization processes tab. There it is. And here we are. For example, remove 650 with second indicator 7. That is this one. All of these exist here as the normalization processes. Here's that first Hebrew one. Here's the YLK combine 949. That's coming right from, oops, sorry, my picture. That's coming from here. Okay, so let's run, for example, this remove 650 with second indicator 7. Pretty straightforward job. It removes a 650 with second indicator 7. We're not going to go into the details of writing a rule. Let's choose a random record here, and we'll put in a 650 with a second indicator 7, just so we have an example on it. Let's say we want F8. We'll put in a 650 with a second indicator 7, and let's say we have $2 and LI. Okay, so I have a 650 with a second indicator 7, and it's in this record called Un Choke Especial. And make a slightly larger set. Actually, we'll use just that one. So I'll save a set, save query. I'll call this BD. So I have a set called BD. In the set BD, let's go to the members, results. We see that it has a 650 with second indicator 7. Everybody sees that. If you don't see it, we'll put it in the picture right here. Now we're going to run one of these manual jobs. Again, we looked at scheduled jobs, then we looked at workflow jobs. Now we're looking at manual jobs. So let's do it. Admin, run a job. And I'm in Mark 21 bib normalization. Here's the job, and we said these take prerequisites. One prerequisite is that we have the normalization rule. Next. Then we have a set. I call the set BD. Then I continue with the parameters. Then I confirm that everything's good, submit. So now run. Here's an example. Now we see it in the running tab. So now we're running a job it's already done, and it completed. And then if we go into that record, we'll see now it no longer has the 650 second indicator 7 right here. No longer has it. Let's take another example. Let's look at hey again. Hey ho, chill go to go. Okay, let's say hey ho, chill. So we have a set and run. Great. Let's make sure we got an item there. Physical items. Item. It has an item. The item is in place. I'm going to save this as a set. Save query. Set name will be hey ho chill. Let's run another manual job. So we'll say admin, run a job. Another manual job is withdraw. All of these are different types. But let's go to withdraw. We're going to do export. I don't know if we're going to do it today. I think we're going to save it for next time, actually. Import. Sorry, I did vendor reports. Import. No, not import. Withdraw. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Withdraw. So let's withdraw items. And it already tells me that it's going to take physical item type set. These take different types of sets. So withdraw items next. Let's go take our hey ho chili, whatever it was. Next. What do I want to do here? Keep holdings in bibliographic records. This takes parameters. The only prerequisite on this job is a set. The other manual job that we ran did both a normalization process and a set. Here we just need a set. Next. And submit. Confirm. Okay, so it's running. I'm in the running tab. Refresh. 0% done. This is the first time. Oh, that was quick too. But we get to see it actually in the running tab. Completed successfully. Let's take a look here. And one item was withdrawn. If I now look for hey ho chill in physical items, I've got nothing. However, if I look in physical titles for hey ho chill, now I do see it. And the reason I do see it now is because it has the holdings record, but it does not have an item because the job ran. If I do Control I see number of items is 0. And if I try to view the items, I also see there are no items, but I'm going to add one just to put it back the way it was. Okay, so that covers the manual jobs. And let's just take a look and make sure we covered everything. Manual jobs run as required. Okay, some of them require prerequisite activities. We saw that one required a normalization process and a set. Another one we ran required only a set. We went into admin and then run a job. We saw that we can filter the different types. We had a set and we ran the withdraw items. We did just like it says here. We chose the parameters, submitted the jobs. We saw that it completed. Then we ran this one here about the remove 650 with the second indicator 7. We selected the set. We ran it on it. We saw that the job was running and it completed. I think we're going to stop here because export jobs and viewing exported files already take us past the end. And the reason we separated this webinar into a 2-part series is so that we could cover each part as in-depth as needed. So in the next session, just to recap, what did we do? We covered all of these, the 3 types of jobs, which are scheduled, workflow, and manual. We looked at different examples. We ran the different examples. And in our next session, we're going to do the export jobs and viewing those exported files. We'll take a look at the scheduled job status widget. And we'll look at different ways to automatically get notification when a job runs. There's an email that automatically goes out, and it's also possible to view the scheduled jobs and even run them via APIs. We're just going to show that on a very high level. That in itself could be a 2-part series. So that's what we're going to do next time. I'm going to do one final check to see if there's any other questions or comments. And if not, we'll finish here. And there are no questions or comments. We'll be posting this recording and we'll send out a message when it's available. And we hope to see you for session 2. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye.